Okay, it's 10 a.m. on June 1st, 2021. So I'll open the meeting and call it to order. My name is Scott Summers with the Legal Services Office of the Department of Education. And this morning via video technology Zoom, we're holding two consecutive and related rule hearings. The first concerned proposed revisions to Title 92, Nebraska Administrative Code Chapter 1, otherwise known as NDE Rule 1, titled Rules and Regulations Governing the Audit of Nebraska Public School Districts. And then as soon as that closes, we'll open a hearing on proposed revisions of Title 92, Nebraska Administrative Code Chapter 2, NDE Rule 2, titled Uniform System of Accounting for Nebraska Public School Districts. The legal notice of today's hearings was published in the Omaha World Herald on April 28th, 2021. Usually I have guidelines for testimony when we have persons from outside of the department. As of now, seeing none, I'll dispense with most of those and just begin by saying Nebraska Department of Education staff member Bryce Wilson will first describe and explain the proposed revisions to Rule 1, and that will be followed by any testimony from interested persons who may hop on or join us in progress. Should someone do that, I'll read brief guidelines for the testimony. I will say that the testimony at the conclusion of all testimony from interested persons, Bryce Wilson will have the opportunity to respond to any testimony. That'll conclude the testimony. The testimony presented is being recorded, and the audio and probably video recording can be made available to the State Board of Education and the public via YouTube at the time the State Board considers the adoption of the rule, which is at least set for June 4th, 2021, this coming Friday in Kearney. All written testimony must be submitted to myself, the hearing official, prior to the end of the day, today, June 1st, 2021, by 5 p.m. in order to be made part of the record of the hearing. And before we move on, I'll ask both Brenda Witt and Bryce Wilson if they're aware of any written testimony via email or otherwise.
I have not received any.
And Bryce, you haven't either. Okay. With that, I will turn it over to you, Bryce, if you could please provide a description and explanation of the proposed revisions to Rule 1 first.
All right. Well, I'm Bryce Wilson, the Administrator of Financial and Administrative Services for the Department of Education. I would just note that input was sought from several auditing firms in regards to the changes in Rule 1. Rule 1 is being updated to add a requirement for auditors to sample expense allocations at the school building level in response to the Every Student Succeeds Act requirement to calculate and make publicly available building level per pupil cost information. All the other proposed changes are technical changes, such as updating the state student information system from NSSRS to Advisor and eliminating obsolete language that statute has changed or no longer exists. So those are the only changes.
Okay, pretty self-explanatory. I don't believe I have anything. Again, I'll say for the record, we don't appear to have anybody to call on to come forward with any public testimony. So with that concludes the hearing on the Rule 1 portion, and we'll move to proposed revisions to NDE Rule 2, Title 92, Nebraska Administrative Code Chapter 2, Uniform System of Accounting for Nebraska Public School Districts. And same thing, Bryce, could you provide an explanation of the proposed revisions on Rule 2?
Yeah, again, Bryce Wilson, Administrator of Financial and Administrative Services. All proposed changes in Rule 2 are technical changes to line up the new accounting code structure and eliminate obsolete language.
All right. I'm scrolling through. I don't think I have any further questions. So if you haven't done so already, could you give Brenda and me any, Brenda's shaking her head like you may have already done it. What you have in writing would help us write the hearing officer summary. And that should be short. And with that, again, it is 10:05:06 in the morning. We did not get anyone coming on this Zoom call for the pre-noticed public hearing. So with that, I will close the hearing and ask that if either of you would receive anything in email or otherwise before 5 to let me know, and we'll move on. Thanks, guys.